What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast. Today is episode 194. I'm alone, and I'm a little scared, but we're going to traverse this together. And guys, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30 free day trial at www.audibletrial.com/nerdcave. There's over 1,880,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, and Kindle or MP3 player, and they're all freaking great. Trust me, I love Audible. So, Derek, Robbie abandoned me. I have Allie working the switchboard today, and you can't see her. She's over on the side over here, but she's doing an awesome job. First day at the switchboard. Already killing it. Already doing better than I will ever do. So, you know how this show goes. We talk about all the nerdy news that you need to know. Expanding your mind one nerdy subject at a time. This week has been interesting. Last 2 weeks I've been kind of away from all of the nerdy stuff. I've been doing my real job, and I've been keeping it up from afar. Like I'm that cliche, like funeral in a movie, and that person's like in the background, like watching everything. That's been me the last 2 weeks, but pretty interesting stuff. We got a new Logan trailer this week. We got Power Rangers. We got a lot of gaming news and everything, and we're going to start out with Logan. That's our first news story, and we had a bunch of questions from the Facebook side of it, so I'm going to just read all of these and all that good stuff, and then we'll switch over to the article. Derek Diamond, since he's not here, he sent in a question. Is that, what do you think of Hugh Jackman's comments about Logan not taking place in the X-Men timeline? Do you think it's dumb of them to do or not? Or since the timeline is so confusing, the studio said just screw it and decided to make a story that stands on its own? Then Derek Daniel went on to say, what do you think of the last Logan trailer overall? March can't get here soon enough, which premiere is ironically also the Switch launch date as well. So, to answer Derek's question, I'm actually okay with them not putting it in the same timeline because that timeline is crap. Like they've rebooted it after Days of Future Past, and I can see where people would want them to stay there because they've just rebooted it, and I've only had one movie, but Apocalypse was so I think giving it its own universe, and I think a lot of people are making universes a little bit too big of a deal. Everything has to have a universe now, so kind of giving that standalone thing, just it's there, it's going to be there, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm excited for it, and the trailer, oh my god, that girl slashing throats and killing people, that was freaking awesome. I can't wait to see that. I'm wondering if they're going to continue X23's story or if it's just going to be that one thing, but it looked freaking great, especially like when that store clerk tries to get her and she just knocks him down and everything. It's going to be awesome. So let's go to the article. Now, in the trailer, Wolverine is holding a comic, and I thought this was pretty cool, and I didn't look into it very closely, and I saw this article about this, and if you look closely over here, you have two comparisons of comics. The one that Hugh Jackman is holding in the trailer, and at the very top it says X-Men Comics Group, and then you compare it to an original Uncanny X-Men as Marvel Comics Group. So what kind of everybody's like, oh, why is this? Well, Marvel's not the one making the movies, but it kind of goes in this right here. Marvel has always been the home of the X-Men dating back to their debut in 1963, and the Marvel branding has always been present in the team's books. But 20th Century Fox has the rights to make the X-Men movies, and the behind-the-scenes scuttlebutt is that Fox and Marvel don't necessarily have the greatest working relationship. So it isn't any surprise that Fox would choose not to focus on the Marvel within the narrative confines of Logan. The Marvel logo does appear in the trailer, and the company will be credited in the final film, which is surely a contractual obligation. So I find it pretty interesting that that's even in there, but I understand, like, Marvel has kind of like laid down the law that there are to be no new mutants, because anytime they make a new mutant, that means Fox can grab them and pull them into the universe. So it's pretty interesting there. But I'm glad to see that there is a X-Men comic and a movie, like that they're actually saying that, hey, these comics are based on us. So that was pretty awesome. But moving on, we're going to do the Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's kind of been an interesting topic. Gal Gadot has done a great job in the first movie, and they finally explained who's going to be the villain for the Wonder Woman standalone movie. Wonder Woman villain Ares has been explained. Thanks to some recently leaked info, we know that the Ares, God of War himself, is set to be one of, and probably the main, that he can, whatever. He's going to be the big baddie. Fearsome foe of Wonder Woman in the upcoming feature film starring Gal Gadot as the Amazon Princess and Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. But as we await this latest installment, the unfolding DCEU, moviegoers might be wondering who is Ares, at least in terms of the DC Comics history. So you can throw out all your, your stuff that you know about Greek mythology and your God of War. But his primary role, whether calling himself Ares or Mars, that's the Greek and Roman verses, this godlike being is one of Wonder Woman's most dedicated antagonists, way to be a granddad, so he's their granddad. Ares is father of Diana's mother, Hippolyta. The God of War spends a lot of time making his granddaughter's life a living hell. As his story has changed over the years, his familial connection to Wonder Woman has also been altered, but more on that in a moment. You can see his first appearances. You can talk about his powers. He's virtually immortal, except when he dies. So that doesn't really work out for him that time. And more or less invulnerable, except when he can be hurt or killed. See, comic books, always contradiction, always doing something wrong. Ares can travel to different dimensions, fly, change form, exert control over the living and occasionally the dead, and also possess the usual assortment of super enhanced traits like speed and strength. I think it's pretty interesting. They're kind of focusing on war as the overall thing because Wonder Woman is set in World War I. So who better to be the big bad than the God of War? It just makes sense. So I'm looking forward to seeing who that's going to be. If you want to look more in depth on who Ares is, you can go over to IGN and check that article out. But moving on, Tim Miller did an awesome job with Deadpool. One of the greatest superhero movies I think that's been put out. Funny, entertaining, and now Ryan Reynolds has just crapped on him. That's just me just thinking that. But he's being eyed by somebody. Giving a little eye over there. James Cameron is eyeing Tim Miller to do a Terminator reboot. And if you don't know, James Cameron is regaining the rights to the Terminator in 2019 and is reportedly heading up a reboot that may be helmed by Deadpool director Tim Miller. According to Deadline, Cameron is in early talks with Miller to direct the project, with the rights to the Terminator reverting back to its creator 35 years after the original film debuted in 1984. Now, I find this pretty interesting because the Terminator franchise up until the third movie, so you have Terminator, you have Judgment Day, was great. Those two movies are great. Terminator 1, B movie. There's no doubt about that. Terminator 2, though, Judgment Day, whew, I have memories of those. And then you get to 3, and it's just crap. And then you get to Salvation, and it's And then Genesis could have been amazing. Genesis could have been great. But the marketing gave away the best twist. So I'm curious to see if they make any more Terminator movies before 2019 happens. And James Cameron getting the franchise back is also interesting because he seems to be focusing a lot on Avatar. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. But Tim Miller has an eye for directing. He has an eye for making characters really, really come to life on the big screen. You look at Deadpool. That's a labor of love right there, because you look at X-Men Wolverine. That was pretty bad. It was really bad. So excited for that. One thing that's going to be weird is them rebooting it and it not being Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's going to be weird. I wonder if they bring him back. I'd be curious to see that. So, moving on. This one was pretty interesting this weekend. I've talked about it recently. What I would love for DC to do is kind of change the script here, but I'll talk about that in just a second. Shazam has been split into 2 movies, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam getting his own. Just like that, Shazam has switched from a single film to 2 movies. Deadline reports that Dwayne Johnson, so if you say The Rock, you have to pay like WWE or whatever, but anyway, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam will get his own standalone film of the DC Universe. This will be in addition to the Shazam movie. Johnson met with DC last week about Shazam's Black Adam. Coming out of the conference, he reconfirmed that he was playing the supervillain and sometimes the anti-hero, as well as alluding to the more optimistic and fun tonal shift for the DC cinematic universe. The successful meeting is what apparently led to the Black Adam spin-off film, according to Variety. There is no writer or director attached to the project yet. Shazam is set to arrive on April 5th, 2019, though it's unclear at this time Black Adam will take place, when it will take place. Now, this is interesting because I've said before, I would love The Rock to play Billy and be Shazam. I think that would be the greatest thing in the world. If you haven't watched Central Intelligence, you see how this childlike, he can act like a child, and that's what Billy is. He's a child. And having that moment where Shazam meets Superman, he's like, gee willikers, it's Superman. That would be freaking awesome. But I think he's still going to do amazing as Black Adam. Curious to see what they do here. I wonder if they try to put in a Black Adam movie before Shazam, or if they move Shazam back and then do Black Adam. It'll be interesting. I'm sure if they put Shazam before Black Adam, they'll do a good job of explaining him, but they won't go too in depth because they have, of course, to explain Shazam first, and then the spinoff will be his. And if you don't know, he's like a Egyptian guy, pharaoh. I want to say he was a pharaoh, so pretty interesting. But I'm glad to see that he's still going to be in the movie, that DC is being a little bit more lighthearted. I don't want Marvel again. I get Marvel movies all the time. They get shoved down my throat. I like me some DC. And then speaking of DC, the travesty that was the Green Lantern movie, it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming, and we're getting more and more news. There's some more casting rumors here. They're eyeing people. They're eyeing Ryan Reynolds once again. Seriously. I don't know if the people over there even looked at Deadpool, but they made fun of that movie all the time in Deadpool. But looking at Ryan Reynolds, Tom Cruise, and more up for Hal Jordan, a new report claims some familiar faces and big names are in the mix to play Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Warner Brothers' big screen version of the DC Comics slated for a 2020 release. According to the Wrap, the studio's short lease is to play Jordan includes Ryan Reynolds, Tom Cruise, Community's Joel McHale, Bradley Cooper, Armie Hammer, and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes, Ryan Reynolds, he played it in the original one and all of that. They're still in the casting process. It's very early in the stages, and there's been no talk to actors yet. Out of this list, Ryan Reynolds probably won't come back. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. Tom Cruise, I think, is a little old for it. Jake Gyllenhaal, I don't think he would fit into the whole DCU or whatever. That's just my opinion. But, they did put Ben Affleck as Batman. Bradley Cooper, I think, would be pretty interesting. He's got that kind of smart aleck act down pat. He's great as Rocket Raccoon. It'd be interesting to see him on both sides of it. And Armie Hammer, he wasn't. He's good. He's a good actor. I'd just be curious to see him in that. The one that I want is Nathan Fillion. Like, he would be absolutely amazing as Hal Jordan. I'm curious to see who they cast as John Stewart. If they're doing the whole core thing, they have to have John Stewart. That's really who the Green Lantern is to a lot of people. So be very curious about that. And moving on to more, we got all the comic news. Peter Dinklage. I love that man. He's probably one of my favorite actors of all time. Just does an amazing job. I loved him as Oliver Trask in Days of Future Past. Did a great job there. And then, of course, Game of Thrones. Just fantastic the whole time as Tyrion Lannister. And you can't forget him in Elf. Did an amazing job there, too. But he's apparently going to be in a Marvel movie. And this looking like he's going to be in Avengers. Earlier this month, Peter Dinklage was reportedly joining the cast of Avengers Infinity War in a mysterious role, and the first clue about his character might have been spotted. In a few photos from Daily Mail, Dinklage can be seen wearing red hair after an appointment at a salon in Manhattan. Though not confirmed, the suddenly change in hair color is most likely related to Dinklage possibly playing either Pip the Troll or Star Fox, not the game, as both Marvel characters sport red hair as well. Pip the Troll is a sidekick for the comic relief to Adam Warlock and has been part of the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, Infinity Crusade comic book storylines. Star Fox is Thanos' brother and was also an Avenger. It'll be pretty interesting to see what he does. I think if they make him comedic relief completely, it's kind of not using his skill set. He's good at comedic relief, but don't force him to do it all the time. I think you're really losing out on that. But anytime Peter Dinklage is on the screen, I fall in love with his character. So I can't wait to see what he does on that. And I'm getting an ad pop up. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And mentioning shows that I really love, House of Cards is going to be coming out with a season 5. And I know I'm excited for it. I'm totally excited. And what's pretty interesting is when the inauguration was going on, they put out the teaser for season 5 right before Trump took his oath. So it has been revealed, the first trailer, the debut date of the 5th season for House of Cards, with the show focused on President of the United States, Kevin Spacey, as Frank Underwood, as cannot speak today. Obviously, no coincidence. This was revealed on inauguration date. The 5th season will be airing May 30th of this year, and I cannot wait for it. I love it. And if you haven't seen the trailer, it's pretty eerie. It's got all these like little kids singing the Star Spangled Banner. The flag's upside down. You need to watch the show if you haven't. It's great. And all the people protesting, stop. Just stop. Jeez. It's over. It's done. It's whatever. Let's talk about Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan will be getting another movie. The Eastern version, if you watched it, I'm sorry. But hopefully this version is going to be better. Warner Brothers always does pretty good. Warner Brothers is looking to secure the film rights to the popular anime and is it Magna or Mangna? Mangna? I got like some nasalage going on. Attack on Titan. According to Deadline, the studio is currently in negotiations to acquire the rights with the potential film adaptation to fall under the leadership of Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them producer David Heyman. Attack on Titan takes place. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life? Like, seriously, it's an amazing freaking anime. Really excited about it. Seeing Warner Brothers try to get the rights, I hope they do, because I think with the right producer, getting the right director that understands the material, and getting actors that will really like get into it, I think it's going to be awesome. Of course, it'll probably be rated R from all of the gore and just action and everything, but I think if they do it right, they can really do a good job of breaking it up into several different films, because there's a lot of stuff to cover here. You could do the very first part, being where the Titans, destroy the wall and the mom dies. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it by now, what are you doing? And then you can show the training, and then you can show like the first mission, and that's the end of it. Okay, and then you get the second movie, and it's like the fight for the next wall or whatever, and then you show Aaron becoming what is it? What is he called? Is he a juggernaut? I don't remember either. But it's really good. And then you have like the female Titan in the third movie, and they're fighting and everything. It'd be freaking amazing. And then the second season's fixing to come out. They're working on it. So you're just getting more and more. Yeah, they're working on it. I'm not going to hold my breath for that one. It's just like another thing we're going to talk about later with the Valve making games. So excited to see this. I hope Warner Brothers gets the rights to it. It's going to be awesome. Now, that's all that good stuff for movies and TV. Now we're into the good stuff. I'm going to read off the computer because I didn't find that one. Yeah, you can just... There you go. We're doing it real over here. Limbo's Inside developer shows concept art from next game. Playdead had tweeted out a new photo of a game. It kind of looks like it's in space with kind of like a meteor falling or something like that. And they were saying, thanks for the warm reception of Inside. Here's a new look at our game. Does it say what it's called? It doesn't. Okay, cool. It looks great. It looks a little bit more in depth. It looks almost where it's not a side scroller, just from the look at that screenshot. Of course, that could just be, concept art for the game, but if they're breaking out of the side scroller that they've been pretty much intact with from Limbo and Inside, it'd be pretty interesting to see what Playdead could do. But you got this kind of monochromatic, in a way, look here. It's not a lot of colors popping, so it's staying in line with what they're really good at. So looking forward to that one for sure. And then the next one's Pokemon, right? Awesome. Pokemon's been gangbusters this year. Just been selling up a huge ton. Pokemon Sun and Moon passes huge sell milestone. Pokemon Sun and Moon are the fastest Nintendo games in the company's history to sell more than 4 million copies. According to a statement from Nintendo, Pokemon Sun and Moon came in number 2 and 3 of the NPD Group's list of best-selling games for the month of December. Combined, the two games sold 4.5 million copies since their release in late November. The last quarter of the year was the best-selling quarter for software in the Nintendo 3DS history, with 7.3 million copies of the first-party Nintendo games sold during the 3-month period. Most of that goes into the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, Super Mario Kart 7, Super Mario Maker as well. If you haven't played Sun and Moon yet, I think it's a really good kind of reboot for the series, and does a really good job of, bringing in new players and old players and really giving them that nostalgic feel, because you get a lot of the original Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon. And just seeing the sales figures for that is kind of amazing. 4.5 million between both of them. I'm curious to see which one sold more. Was it Sun or Moon? I know a lot of people that I know personally got Sun over Moon, but put both of them together, 4.5 million. 4.5 million. Now, we were talking a lot about comic book characters before this, and one thing that was pretty interesting this week was the release of the second Injustice trailer. We have it up on our Facebook page if you want to go look at that. And along with that, you had NetherRealm Studios announcing the Injustice 2 beta. And the game looks great. One of my favorite things about Injustice was the storyline, so I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. But you can sign up for the Injustice 2 online beta. More details will be out about the early trial of the fighting game. Injustice 2 will launch in May, available in standard packages, as well as digital deluxe and ultimate options. The special versions of the fighting game include DLC characters like Power Girl skin. You're not even getting Power Girl, you're getting a Power Girl skin. No matter what version, Injustice 2, blah, blah, blah. So there is a question on the Facebook side from, I want to say it is Derek. Daniel, he asked, I'm putting Allie through the ringer here with changing everything. He asked, what did you think of the latest Injustice 2 trailer? Are you excited to unlock Darkseid as a pre-order bonus? I was very excited about the trailer. The voiceover, you don't know who it is, and it's kind of giving like both sides of what's going on. Are they friend? Are they foe? Are they this or that? And it's cool to hear all of that because both of those could be applied. Are they a savior? Are they a monster? But as the trailer goes on, you keep seeing it over and over and over again. And you get to the point where they reveal who's talking, and it's Brainiac. And I thought that was freaking awesome. But the very end, after the trailer's done and everything, then they show Darkseid walking. And when they showed the boots and everything, I was like, this is Darkseid. If you don't know who Darkseid is, he's the big bad of the DCU. Like, he's the one that just kills people like left and right, Omega beams. But he's walking up and it's like, play as Darkseid, pre-order. And I'm just like, stop with the pre-order madness, please, 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 because I want to play as Darkseid. I think he would be a really cool character, but now for me to even be able to play him at launch, I have to pre-order because people pre-order, and this is how they get people to pre-order. There's all of these pre-order bonuses, and I just wish they would put everything out for everybody, just everybody. So it kind of upsets me in a way to see them put that paywall or pre-order wall up for everybody, but it is what it is. I'm excited for the game. I want to say it's May. Let me look up when the release date is so everybody knows. Injustice 2 release date. I want to say it's like May 23rd or something like that. It does not have a pre-order date yet. It just says 2017. I don't think that's right. Oh, well. We'll look it up later. All right. Moving on. The Wii U is dead. It's dying. It's croaking on its own blood. The last game for the Wii U that will be made is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it's been a long freaking time. Like, Breath of the Wild should have been out 2 years ago. It's disappointing. Disappointing you, Nintendo. I didn't get to be on the show last week. And you would have got all my... I'm not even going to get into it because it would be a whole nother podcast. My disappointment for it. Speaking to Polygon, Nintendo of America's president, Reggie Fils-Aimé, Reggie, that's what I like to call him, said that from a first-party standpoint, there are no new development coming after the launch of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We really are at an end of the life of the Wii U. A few months ago, they stopped production of the Wii U, so this is no surprise that this is the final game that will be coming out from a first-party standpoint. So I'm not even going to give it a seven-gun salute. But some exciting news with some new confirmed Nintendo Switch games that's coming out in the launch window. And the first of those being Shovel Knight. If you haven't played Shovel Knight, it is a fantastic game, 8-bit side scroller, and seeing that Yacht Club is going to be putting Shovel Knight Treasure Trove and Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment coming out during the launch window ahead of their releases on other consoles is pretty interesting. No specific release date was announced, and Yacht Club did not hint how close the Nintendo Switch March 3 launch the release will be, but in a blog post, the developer did confirm Treasure Trove will be available for $24.99, while the standalone Spectre of Torment will be $9.99. Spectre of Torment and Shovel Knight's two-player co-op mode will be playable on Switch on the show floor of PAX South, if you're going to be going to that, which takes place in San Antonio, Texas, January 27th through 29th. So that's coming up this week. That's going to be, I think, Friday through Sunday. Yes, Friday through Sunday. So if you want to go check those out and you're going to be at PAX South, you can definitely do that. Yacht Club also announced a sound test mode featuring all the tracks from the game, which will come on all the versions as an update. The next game that has been confirmed that was previously released is the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, and this is going to be a launch title as well. Publisher Nicholas, I guess that's how you would say that, has announced that The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus will be a launch day title for Nintendo Switch, priced at $39.99. The horrible, brilliant twin-stick dungeon crawler was confirmed for March 3rd on The Binding of Isaac's blog. It will be available as a box and digital release in the U.S., with digital release expected worldwide. So I've never played Binding of Isaac, not Iris, Binding of Isaac, but apparently it's an amazing game. So getting more and more games coming out on launch is a really good thing. Like, Nintendo needs that desperately. I know one person compared, they would take the Xbox One and the PS4's release dates, and compared to Nintendo has Zelda, they would take Nintendo's Switch release over the PS4 or the Xbox One. And I can see where you're going there. Zelda's going to have a ton of stuff in there to do, but there's not a lot of depth other than Zelda. And seeing Binding of Isaac being added on there is a very, very good thing. And I'm curious to see if Shovel Knight is going to be on that list here in the next few weeks or whatever. And if you got a Nintendo Switch pre-order, congratulations. You're one of the 3 people that got that. I find it freaking ridiculous that Nintendo does not know how to do pre-orders. I understand they don't want to be in the situation they'd had with the Wii U, where they put out a ton of stock and then it didn't sell and it looks like it wasn't doing well. But putting 3 pre-orders up on Amazon, GameStop, and every other big box store is a little ridiculous. Stop doing this. Stop being a crappy little toy company and actually provide what people want. There's my little spill there. Now, Obsidian. Obsidian is known for making Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Fallout 3, New Vegas, and they put out a new tease this past week. Obsidian has teased its next game, codenamed Project Louisiana. At this point, there isn't much to go on, only a lonely image and a quote shown below. Needless to say, that hasn't stopped the internet coming up some theories as what Obsidian could be teasing. And let me zoom in, the little text, you got a little pipe, little wheat right there. The text says, "I used to dream that when my God came back, he would forgive us. That's the trouble with dreams. Sooner or later, we have to all wake up." And of course, first off the gate, Fallout 4, New Orleans could be the first one out. In July 2014, Fallout New Vegas director Josh Sawyer talked about he'd love to revisit Fallout series and some of the places he'd like to visit. He was talking about doing LA and all of this kind of stuff. It would make the most sense, in my opinion, just because they've spent more recently time with Fallout, and since that's a newer game, since it came out last year, it would make sense. But the one that got me, it's a little bit further down the alley. It's below that, yeah, right there. Now, this one right here, I read through this part, and I was excited. And I highly doubt this is going to happen, but I'll read it to you. If you got a bucket of salt handy, feel free to use a few pinches. While remembering EA announced a load of Star Wars games at last year's E3 presentation, Obsidian made Knights of the Old Republic 2, Dare to Dream. I would love a Knights of the Old Republic 3. I know everybody out there listening right now, they're like throwing up their hands and they're like, yes, Knights of the Old Republic 3. SWOTOR, I loved you when you came out. Now you're just this bastard in a corner, and I don't want you anymore. Give me Knights of the Old Republic 3. So, it's interesting to see what they're going to do. From the little screenshot and from the text, I highly, highly doubt that it's going to be anywhere near Star Wars. So, be very, very interesting. Now, this week, a few games coming out. We've got one that's an amazing horror game. And then we also have Kingdom Hearts 2.8 final remaster project, whatever. You can go check out my top 5 games of January. But Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is coming out on the 24th, which is Wednesday, I want to say. And I cannot... No, it's Tuesday, right? Hold on. Let's go. Day. Nope. Today. Hit the day. It's Tuesday. It's coming out Tuesday. And it's going to be freaking amazing. If you haven't played the demos, do it now. If you're on the fence, you're like, I don't know if I should buy this game. Well, freaking do it. Go play that demo. It's free. You're going to have the bejesus scared out of you. You're going to probably poop your pants. Wear some brown pants so your friends don't laugh at you when you play this. And if you've got a VR headset, a PlayStation VR, then have some fun. I'm hoping I get to play it on VR as well. But buy Resident Evil 7 Biohazard once and play it on Xbox One and PC. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is coming to Microsoft's Xbox Play Anywhere program. Gamers who digitally purchase the game can play it on Xbox One or PC without needing to buy an additional copy. Resident Evil 7 joins the ever-growing list of games eligible for Xbox Play Anywhere. Some of Microsoft's bigger recent games, including Gears of War 4 or Forza Horizon 3, are part of the program. As part of the program, gamers can save progress, DLC, gamer score, and achievements to Xbox Live and continue their game on another Xbox One or Windows 10 PC. One thing that's interesting right now is the Halo Wars 2 beta that's going on that also supports Xbox Play Anywhere. And I'm looking very excited for Resident Evil 7. Now, there's another horror game that I remember sitting in Robbie's bedroom when we used to record there. And I heard about this game, and it was exciting. It excited me because it was made by a company that I absolutely loved. Horror game Perception will be coming to PS4. No release date has been announced. Perception, the horror game developed by former Irrational and Visceral employees, is coming to PlayStation 4, the Deep End has announced. Although no release date for Perception is known, the game will be published by Fairdemic, a new publishing label focused on bringing players unique psychological horror games, according to a post on the PlayStation blog. Perception will have you play as a young blind woman named Cassie Thornton as you navigate through the creepy 18th century mansion in Massachusetts. Players will find their way around by tapping Casey's cane to see via the echolocation while trying to not make too much noise that will attract the presence, a ghostly force that haunts the mansion. If you haven't seen the trailer for this, it's amazing. Echolocation, I think this game is going to be awesome. If you don't know who the people that made this is the people that made BioShock. So it is going to be awesome. It coming to PS4, it gives me this glimmer of hope. I could play it on my PC any day, but I love playing my games on my PS4. So I'm excited about that. No confirmation yet that I know of that it will be coming to Xbox, but if they go with the Play Anywhere thing, it'll be on everything. Now, this is almost a lie in my head. Like I don't even believe it, but I'm going to tell you because you need to know that you're being lied to here. Just like we're making America great again. Gabe Newell says Valve is still working on single-player games. You are a liar, my friend. You give us great discounts, but you are a liar. Gabe Newell, Valve co-founder and legendary figure in the world of PC gaming, did another Reddit AMA today. Well, this was yesterday, during which he said Valve is currently working on at least one single-player game. His answer to the question was a simple yes. That game isn't Half-Life 3 because, in the same breath, he joked, the number 3 must not be said. Newell did sow the seeds of hope for at least something Half-Life related when he admitted that there's a possibility of a new IP in the Half-Life/Portal universe. Newell reiterated that J.J. Abrams' Valve movie collaborations are still in the works. The J.J. Abrams Valve announcement first came all the way back at DICE 2013, but it wasn't until earlier last year we got an update on the Half-Life and Portal movies. Gabe is a master at answering questions without actually giving any concrete information, but he did say that he believes Portal 2 is Valve's best single-player game, while Dota 2 is the most played Valve multiplayer game. Don't get your hopes up. That's just that. Don't get your hopes up on anything, and you'll live a life full, and you won't ever have to worry about anything, because then you'll never be disappointed. So just, there you go. Don't believe in anything. That's what I'm telling you right now. Gabe is a liar. He will give you a 25% discount, though, in the summer and the winter. But don't count on a Half-Life game. The old saying is, wish in one hand and spit in the other, and see which one fills up faster, and that's what you're going to get. But if you want something free, we got it for here. We got it right here for you. It's one game that I've been enjoying a lot lately. Watch Dogs 2 gets free 3-hour trial on PS4 and Xbox One. I cannot speak today. Ubisoft has released a 3-hour Watch Dogs 2 trial on PlayStation 4, with the demo hitting Xbox One on January 24th. The Watch Dogs 2 free trial offers up the entire open-world game to players, including multiplayer. Then if you decide to buy, progress will carry over to the same purchase version. The move might be in response to weaker launch sales for Watch Dogs 2 compared to the original. At the time, Ubisoft expressed confidence in the long-term prospects for the open-world game, and this free trial should get more people to try it out. Now, Watch Dogs 2 is much better than the original. Watch Dogs 1 was an abysmal, just disappointment. I understood, the whole reason behind it. It had a lot of promise, meant a lot of things like, oh, the graphics are going to look this way, and then they look crap, and then all of this. Watch Dogs 2, though, is kind of battling its own demons from the past. So if you're looking for something that's interesting to play, if you're looking for something that is open world, that isn't, GTA or whatever, then this is a game that's going to be a little bit more interesting. I need to get back into it, but it has been a lot of fun to play. So if you're looking for a way to try it out free to see if it's what you want, this is a great way to do it. PlayStation 4 is doing it right now, and we said Xbox One will be getting it on January 24th, so you can check that out there. Now, to wrap up this awesome news segment before we answer our questions, as IGN starts playing ads on my end. Mass Effect Andromeda to feature weapon naming and crafting. There was a tweet that went out from Ian Fraser. It said, pro tip, in MEA, which is Mass Effect Andromeda, you can craft your own Krogan-style hammer and name it Grabthar's Hammer. If you don't know what Grabthar's Hammer is, you need to go watch Galaxy Quest. Just saying. Mass Effect Andromeda will induce introduce a new feature to the series, weapon naming and crafting. The game's lead designer, Ian Fraser, confirmed the feature and on Twitter, while also revealing melee weapons like a Krogan-style hammer can also be named and crafted. Melee weapons will have a specific slot in your loadout similar to guns. BioWare's other major RPG series, Dragon Age, has had weapon crafting, including the latest entry in 2014's Dragon Age Inquisition. Mass Effect Andromeda launches March 21st in North America and March 23rd internationally for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. According to BioWare, there are currently no plans to support the game over to Nintendo's latest console because it probably would catch on fire and not be able to play it. There you go. There's your 32 gigabytes of internal storage, Nintendo. You disappoint me. I don't think I've been clear enough on that. All right. We got a few questions on the Facebook side. Guys, if you want to submit your questions every week, we ask, what is your topic? So ask a question. There you get a little picture of the Batman guy down there. We've already answered the Logan questions. We talked about House of Cards, Season 5. What are my expectations for House of Cards? I expect it to be freaking amazing. I could also see it being the last House of Cards season. I really could. I could see it be the way that, Frank Underwood and Claire are caught and they're executed or something. But I see it being a freaking amazing ride. And you can't go wrong with somebody looking into the camera and talking to you. That's Kevin Spacey. So I'm looking really, really forward to it. May 30th cannot come fast enough. Then the new Power Rangers trailer came out, and Derek asked thoughts on the latest Power Rangers trailer. Are you feeling better the more you see of the movie? It made me feel a little bit better about what everything looks like. Zordon looks really, really cool. Like, I have no problem with him being like on the wall, not in like a tube thing like back in the old days. Even Alpha 5 doesn't look bad. He's like this little miniature. If he was like a full-size person type thing, it'd be a little weird. Zord doesn't look amazing. Like, the whole, like, Zord itself, it doesn't look like what I would want it to look like. I want it to look like the original. That's just me. Goldar is my biggest problem. Goldar looks dumb. Like, I have no qualms about saying that. Goldar looks dumb, and I wish they would have fixed that. But it is what it is. I think the movie did a pretty good job in the trailer showing that it's not going to be super serious and dark. It's going to have, some lightheartedness to it. So I'm looking forward to that. If you haven't seen the trailer, you can check that out. It's pretty good. I'm getting more excited about it. I'm not doubting it as much as I was. And then we already answered the Injustice trailer, and let's talk some football. The resident football expert is here. I watch it all the time. I bleed football. Derek also asked, I don't know when y'all are recording, but if you're during the championship games, who do you have going to the Super Bowl? If you record after both the games are over, who is your early pick? Favorite for the Super Bowl. So today the AFC and NFC championships are going on. It's see who's winning. I know the Patriots are playing the Steelers, and the Green Bay Packers, go Packers, are playing the Falcons, and the last time I was checking, Green Bay was getting their butt handed to them. So I'm going to say, let me check on the see what the game score is. Ooh. All right. Well, Green Bay is probably not going to the Super Bowl since they're getting beat 44-15. So I'm going to say the Falcons go to the Super Bowl, and then I'm going to say the Patriots go for the AFC, and then I'm going to say the Falcons win it. I hate that the Green Bay Packers are doing so bad, but whatever. So yeah, those are my picks for that. And guys, if you don't know, I've enjoyed spending time with you. One last thing, I forgot to do this. I was on a roll here. we are supported by Audible. I'm going to read this to you. Just like you enjoy when you go to a class and a teacher reads something to you. You just love it. But I'm going to read this to you because I can't remember it off the top. For you, the listeners of the Nerd Cave podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their services. I actually use Audible. I'm not just telling you this. I actually use Audible. And it is an awesome service that you can check out. I would actually recommend, if you're a Game of Thrones person, go get the Game of Thrones books. It is great. It is a cool way to get more information on what the books are. It has a lot more than the show does, and that's a great way. I watch the show, I watch a season, then I read a book. I watch a season, I read one of the books, and it adds so much more to it. So those are some of the ones that I prefer. The Star Wars books are amazing, and if you're a first-time audiobook goer, if you're using this trial, get unabridged books. Don't get abridged books because you're getting cheated out on that. So look, it'll tell you if it's abridged or unabridged. Star Wars books, there's a bunch of unabridged that's been coming out in the last 5 or 6 years. There are a bunch of abridged books, so check that out. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/nerdcave. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdcave for your free audiobook. I appreciate your support, guys. Go get a free book. Star Wars, I would suggest Star Wars Ahsoka. That's what I'm reading right now. So there you go. Guys, you can find us all over social media. We're on Twitter at Nerdcave Vids, Instagram, Nerdcave Vids, Facebook /groups/Nerdcave Network, where I have a page, Nerdcave Network. We're on YouTube, Nerdcave Network. You see the trend going there? And then we also have a gaming channel, Nerdcave Gaming. And we do awesome top fives and live streams over there. And guys, you can get this show early over at patreon.com/nerdcave. This is a great way to support us so we can keep doing awesome things. We have bonus episodes for every month. We have early access to the audio version, early access to the video versions if you like watching us, because I am pretty handsome, I have to say. And we have other awesome tiers. You can get your picture on the wall when we get our new studio built and everything. So if you want to support us there, it goes to a great cause, which is us. Not going to lie, it goes to us. So you can check that out. We have podcasts throughout the week. Monday, we have... Oh, wow. My brain just went away. Monday, we have Nerd Cave Retro. Tuesday, we have the Derek Diamond Experience. Wednesday, we have Battle of the Brands. Thursday, we just had the wrap-up Nerd Cave Fantasy Football for Nerds. And then Friday, we have this show. And then Saturday, we have PCP. Not the drug. Don't get that confused. Pop Culture Palette. So, guys, thanks for joining me. Next week, we will answer the question, what ice cream flavor does Robbie taste like? This has been Zach, and have a week.